What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So KHA'ZIX, this is the League of Legends champion I am going to be covering today. Last week I went through Rengar based off a recommendation, and in that recommendation the person said you have to do Rengar and KHA'ZIX together because their laws intermingle. That's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Interconnected. That is the word I'm looking for. So here we are. Today I'm going to be covering KHA'ZIX. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go through obviously his bio. I'm going to go through his story. I'm also going to go through and review his skins. I'm going to go through his spotlight as well. I believe his spotlight's quite old, so I might do a bit of a twist on his spotlight and also maybe one of his spotlight skins as well. So yeah, I'll timestamp the whole thing as I always do. And yeah, without further ado, let's go. Okay, so this is KHA'ZIX's bio, the Void Breather. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here. A vicious void predator, KHA'ZIX infiltrated Valorant to devour the land's most promising creatures. With each kill he absorbs his prey's strength, never knew that. Evolving to grow more powerful, KHA'ZIX hungers most to conquer and consume Rengar, the one beast he considers his equal. So straight off the back there we find out a little about the connection between him and Rengar, and I believe in Rengar's bio the first paragraph talks about how Rengar has the scar on one of his eyes from KHA'ZIX. So when KHA'ZIX crossed over into this world, because obviously it's from the Void, quick side note as well, I need to actually go through the map explore of the Void as well, but anyway, that's for another video. He was fragile and ravenous. The animals he first encountered were too small to fuel the rapid evolution he craved. KHA'ZIX focused his hunger on the most dangerous creatures he could find, risking his life to satisfy his needs. With each kill he feasted and changed, becoming a stronger, faster predator. KHA'ZIX soon chased his prey with unrestrained aggression, believing he was unstoppable. One day while savouring a fresh kill, the predator became the prey. From cover a creature oh, that's his, wait, okay. Just noticed how short his bio is. From cover, a creature pounced in the blur of fangs and steel, tackling him to the ground. It roared in his face, slashing and clawing, and KHA'ZIX felt his blood spill for the first time. Screeching in fury, he sliced at the brute's eye, driving it back. They fought from sunset to sunrise. Finally, near death, they reluctantly separated. As his wounds closed, KHA'ZIX burned with anticipation at the idea of devouring one who could match the Void's strength. He resumed his search for powerful prey with renewed vigour. Someday KHA'ZIX will feast on Rengar. I'm sure Rengar has something to say about that. It's the complete opposite, but no, that's good. I can see how their backstories are tied in quite closely, especially when I read Rengar's last week as well. So pretty short, but interesting start to KHA'ZIX. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through his login theme. In fact, no, yeah. I'm going to say, if it's so short, I'll go through his story, but forget that. Let's stick to the plan. I'll go through his login theme and then I'll carry on with his story. Let's go. So this is the login theme. 1 minute 50 seconds long. Okay, pretty short. Okay. So far, not bad. ending was pretty cool. So, the first thing I'm going to say is animation. I'm really liking the artwork and the animation. I like, obviously, the blood or whatever is dripping from his mouth. These spikes as well that are all over the place in the front of the picture and also in the background as well. Obviously, a testament to one of his abilities. I forget which one it is. It's W. So I like that as well. In terms of the music, if I'm comparing it to Rengar's, not as good as Rengar's. Okay, it's okay. I just felt like the build-up wasn't quite there. But no, a decent looking theme either way. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to move on to his story. Let's go. Okay, so this is Adaption, and I wonder who this is here on the left. And this is KHA'ZIX here on the right. Looks a little bit different to what I'm used to, but okay, cool. So, Adaption. Here we go. To be exiled is to be erased. You are not forgotten. This Rengar, I imagine. You never existed at all. Each beat of your heart is judged unworthy of counting. Even a slave wears chains, proving their value. Even the dead are mourned. I am nothing to the Kalish who birthed me. The name Rengar no longer recalls the face of their kin, son of the chieftain Ponjaf, who he killed. I am outcast from their hearts as much as their heathens. There is no return for such a fate, or so I was told. Years and blood can change such things. My heart still beats, and so I went to them with trophies gathered at the hunter's path. Worthlessly I was brought before my father's gaze. He offered me a return to the tribe where my name would be spoken and face remembered, where my heart's beating would be counted again. And he named the cost for such a thing. I must track a shadow, bladed shard of moonless night, abomination. Return from the jungle with its head, and I shall be exiled no more. Because if we remember as well, he showed them all the things he killed, and he got some form of respect back from them. Went to see his father, and his father said, kill KHA'ZIX. But he believed the reason he said that was because everybody else was scared of KHA'ZIX as well. And I don't think his father's going to see that happen, even if it does, because his father's dead. So, chapter 2. I melt between the trees. This is KHA'ZIX now from his position. I hear, smell, feel. I praise the spore of 1,000 creatures, big and small. This comes from instinct, sharpened by the cold teachings of the human who found an outcast. No, it isn't, still Rengar, and set him down the path of the hunt. I still bear the knife Markon gave me. I search for the wrong thing that dwells here, unable to belong. The trophies that hang and rattle from my coat are gone, left behind at my camp. There is only the blade, a layer of grease to slicken my fur, and the slow measured beat of a hunter's heart in my chest. There is nothing amid the teeming life of the rainforest, until there is something. It is faint but stark, slithering over my senses. The sickly sweet unfamiliarity of it halts me for a moment as I take it in. It is wrong in every way, repulsive, an enemy to life in ways I cannot describe. It defies everything around it. The true hunt begins. I follow the trail. I snake around it, never touching. I endure the wrong thing scent until the sounds of blood letting reward me. Something is dying. Through the trees ahead, it is not dying well. A pack of jungle raptors. From far the apex, raptors are still capable predators, and rarely ever prey. Their attacker is either desperate with hunger or unconcerned by their lethality. I'm sure it's the second. I bare my teeth in a grin. It may be a challenge after all. The reek of the wrong thing is overpowering. It clings to the clumps of bright bloody plumage sown about the forest floor. I surge up a thick rugged tree trunk. My claws carry me silently into the canopy. I crouch there in the leafy shadows, tasting the humidity of the air, narrowing my eyes, seeking my quarry. It had speed. This is a weapon it has honed to a fine edge. I catch only glimpses as it darts back and forth, finishing its kills and preparing to feast. Once again, this reminds me of Katarina and Talon, where Talon is sent by Katarina's father to kill her, and he's obviously watching her for a period of time before he decides to attack. It's a very similar thing, in my opinion, here with this one between Rengar and KHA'ZIX. The promise of trophies does not spur it to hunt. I sense a greater hunger in its movements, something beyond the primal urge to survive. When the last raptor dies, the wrong thing slows. Even so, it is never still. It leaps and slides across the ground like smoke. I can see it more clearly now. It makes my brain itch. It is like an insect, but not completely. Its parts do not make sense. Limbs and flesh and shell and claw that cannot belong to the same single creature. On his side a glistening outer skeleton, blackish purple like rotten fruit. The air and light writhe around it, they do not want to touch it either. That gives me the understanding I seek. The wrong thing bears the mark of an exile too. I am ready to send it back to wherever foulness spawned it. With Macron's knife lighting my grip, I drop from the branches. There is no sound when I land behind the creature. It pays my approach no heed. I know how to move unseen, unheard, until those sweet adrenaline-filled moments after a killing blow is struck. I have risen to become an apex predator by adaptation, by instinct. And in this moment, my instinct screams that something is not right. So I wonder if this is the events of the first interaction between the two. By the sounds of it, I'm going to say yes. Excuse me. Where Rengar loses an eye, or gets a cut on his eye. We shall see. So, hesitation saves my lifeblood from joining that of the raptors. I barely see the claw. Here we go. As it slices the air I would have occupied. It knew I was coming. Had I not stopped short, it would have ended me then. Everything has been too clean, too easy. I should have recognized it sooner. Pondra's promise had blinded me, confidence soured to hubris, leaving me exposed. A slick chittering comes from the monster's throat. Ichor flecks its jaws. There is movement on its back, straining against the carapace. It hisses a noise I cannot tell is of pain or pleasure, as a pair of new limbs erupt and unfurl into hideous dripping wings. It has seen the threat I pose, and so it changes. It is unwilling to submit as prey. I lunge, too slow. The creature's riposte sends Macron's knife spinning from my grip. Foolishly, sentimentally, my eyes follow it for an instant. The error opens the way for the wrong thing to strike. Here we go. Another bladed claw flicks out, hot, stinging pain, a roaring between my ears. I fall back, blood slicks my face. I scramble to gain distance, trying to blink the red from my vision. The right eye is a blur, the left remains dark. The roaring will not fade. I reach for my cheek, I realise what the beast has taken. Beating the last of the vile slime from its wings, the wrong thing rises to hover over me. It bares its fangs, either in further challenge or a cruel grin, and holds my left eye, so it didn't lose his eye, left eye up for me to see. Slowly it lowers a blood-slick orb over its fangs and drops it down its gullet. Woo! My gorge rises. I clench my fist, rubbing at my remaining eye. The defilement of it, the symbolic shift as this foul creature snatches the role of hunter away from me. I no longer feel any pain, only rage. I hurl myself at it. I need no knife. I have the claws I was born with and the triumphant roar I learned from myself. I will not be defeated. We collide. Here we go. The red dance of violence seems unending. We give each other chase in turn. The abomination is cold darkness. I am the core of a vengeful sun. We cut away each other over and over, and the rest of the world no longer matters. This is, I presume, the final chapter. Finally, as night falls, my enemy flees. Or is it just as I wish to see it? Maybe it learned all it can from me, and instinct guides it on a greater things. Exhaustion takes hold. I collapse, left with a bloody wound and a new terrible sense of connection to this monster. It is a bond forged in the moment it ate my flesh. Or the Kalish know the wrong thing as KHA'ZIX. In the old mortal tongue it means you face yourself. True enough, it changed as we fought, growing and twisting. It went forward, always forward, to find its edge, where I looked back into myself, back into the past and the tribe of my birth, to summon my exile's fury. This was not enough, as it has adapted. Now so must I, for I will have my kill. Right, okay, so this is from his perspective. This is a fight. We find out how he did lose his eye. Interesting. Okay, this is good. I like when they do this as well. I like when they have interactions between champions from different regions. Yeah, they definitely are different regions. I like that because it connects the regions so much more, gives them a bit more character, and makes you realize as well that obviously each region is next to each other. They're not separate, isolated things. So now that was really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to his skins. Let me go through and review his skins. And then I think, because his spotlight's so long, I'm going to go through my favourite skin spotlight as well. Let's go. So this is KHA'ZIX's skins. So this is his base skin. The void grows and the void adapts. In none of its myriad spawn are those truths more apparent than KHA'ZIX. Evolution drives the core of the mutating horror, born to survive and to slay the strong. Where it struggles to do so, it grows new, more effective ways to counter and kill its prey. Initially a mindless beast, KHA'ZIX's intelligence has developed as much as its form. Now the creature plans out its hurts and even utilizes the visceral terror it endangers in its victims. Wow. So yeah, like I was saying before, the login theme, I really do like his base skin as well. So, Mecha. Okay, so we've got Mecha KHA'ZIX. Interesting. Designated KZX, the Mecha KHA'ZIX unit was the first of the Mecha line to be deployed against the kaiju threat, just like Pacific Rim. Due to its small size, it functions best in urban environments, adapted on the fly to threats against civilian populations. Yeah, you can definitely see where it's taking its inspiration from. Next one, Guardians of the Sand. So just like there's Guardians of the Sand Rengar, which is one of my favourites. Actually, it might be my favourite one. There's also Guardians of the Sand KHA'ZIX. KHA'ZIX the Devouring Scarab, ancient guardian of the sands. We invoke thee to protect us from an evil of our own making. Let no man tread upon these hallowed grounds, lest you consume them utterly. So, yeah, I do like the look of that one as well. Definitely Shuriman vibes there. Death Blossom, whoa, okay. Hidden among the great flower fields of the north are the Death Blossoms, primeval, is it primeval? Hunters, whose disarming beauty would lull even the bravest knight to tears, if but for a moment. For KHA'ZIX, feeding upon these hardy souls offers yet another chance at metamorphosis, and a moment is all he needs. Yeah, looks a little bit like Wolf from the Spirit Blossom. I forgot the name. Kindred. Yeah, cool. So, Darkstar, the hunger of the abyss. KHA'ZIX is an alien horror whose careless, ceaseless appetite feeds a Darkstar. Appearing before planets like a titan locust, it devours all it encounters. The power of 100,000 stars fueling its evolution. Jeez, into an ever greater threat. And then we have Odyssey. Okay, so Odyssey, a member of the elite bounty hunting organization. KHA'ZIX is cold, ruthless, and always gets the job done. Though hired by Karma to track down the missing Templars, she doesn't realize that KHA'ZIX is a double agent secretly working for Aatrox to bring Karma to him. Once again, Odyssey just sounds like a great lore to unpack. You could make something great out of that. Yeah, and obviously the Odyssey skins really good as well. This is another example of that. Cool. Okay, and then is that it? Championship. Ooh, okay. Celebrate the 2018 championship in Korea. This is Championship KHA'ZIX. I like that one as well. Feel in the background. Cool. And the gold. I like the gold on that as well. And is that it? That is it. So there's not too many. So if I had to give him a top three, number 3 would have to be number 3 would be Death Blossom. Death Blossom looks so cool, doesn't it? Yeah, that would be my number 3. Number 2 would be Darkstar. Darkstar looks epic, doesn't it? That looks so good. And number 1 would be Odyssey. I really do like this one as well. Honourable mention obviously is Guardians of the Sand, but it's not quite as good as Rengar's. But this for me, Odyssey KHA'ZIX is number 1. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the actual skin spotlight for the Odyssey KHA'ZIX. Let's go. So, this is the skin spotlight. Yeah, it looks so good, doesn't it? It looks so good. It's actually got fingers. Whoa, let me go. I like that. I like it's got fingers in that as well. So, this is the 360. Okay, that's cool. Check out his abilities. So first ability is going to be, his emotes. Let's look at his emotes.
My purpose is eating deadly creatures. My hobby is eating yodels.
Eating yodels. Okay.
Do not fear death. The best part of you will live on.
It's a terrible dancer. It's a terrible bunny. Okay. I I do like that laugh though. That laugh is good. Here's the recall. Okay. Okay. What else we got here now? He got his basics. Okay. So champions isolated. Okay. There's Q ability. Okay. W. And the range. Ooh, okay. Does that? I wonder what he's evolved to look like. Does it have evolved? Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. That looks so much better. Okay. Okay, what have you said? Yeah, his evolve looks nice. Evolve W. Okay. Oh, okay, I gotta say it's kind of the same, but it's not. Okay, okay. That's tight. Then the evolved arc kind of looks the same. Let's check out his crit. And then his death. Okay. Okay. Not very dramatic. And the rest, the next 3.5-4 minutes of chromas, which we don't need to go through. So that's good. Good to go through his skin spotlight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through his official. Well, not his official, but I'm going to go through his spotlight. Let's go.
Sorry, that was a bad.
So yeah, this is what I'm going to actually watch. I'm going to watch Can We Talk About This? This is KHA'ZIX. I've had quite a few people say you've got to watch the Can We Talk About This champions. I've done Magic App Use Fly. I've gone through Bricky's videos as well. I've not gone through this guy's. So this is the first one. And this is on KHA'ZIX. So yeah, let's go.
Crack. Can we talk about this? We've covered a lot of topics on this show. With 35 episodes, we've talked about everything from tanks to mages to everyone's favorite, of course, more tanks. It's no question that there are some classes that the meta will always favor, and some classes that are forced back into the recesses of our subconscious, waiting for their perfect opportunity.
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah.
To strike, only to be nerfed into the ground a millisecond later. Oh, it's alright there, little Timmy. The monsters got nerfed. You can beat them up now. Balancing assassins is a lose-lose situation. Whenever they're relevant, everyone seems to lose their shit and throw a riot.
Yeah.
And whenever they're irrelevant, everyone seems to lose their shit and throw a riot. And
it's so true. So true.
Because assassins kind of stand for everything that League of Legends is against. They're strong, independent carries who don't need no team. And since League has recently been doing just about everything to make team synergy more important than ever, being an assassin main these days is kind of like being an architect forced to do open heart surgery. Yeah, you know how to make buildings, but can you make this man alive? It seems these days, more often than not, being a jungle assassin is never as good as being a jungle tank, and for good reason. With the Enhanced Locket, Knight's Vow, Gargoyle Stone Plate, and God knows what else, tank junglers are stronger than they've ever been. I mean, how are you supposed to win against a choke?
Yeah, if you look at like a professional match, like I was watching the LCK, and I've got the name of the European one, LEC, is it? Anyways, none of them ever pick assassin jungles, unless it's Diana. Rarely pick assassin jungles. It's always tank jungles.
Ogath comp if he can shield his team for 3,000 health for
I guess that's kind of why.
a few seconds, negating burst, literally eliminating all that the assassin brings in the first place. But of course, this requires everyone to be on the same page. And since most League of Legends games consist of 2 chimpanzees, 1 rocket scientist, an average Joe, and half a corn dog forgotten in the backseat of a car long enough to achieve sentience, some assassins can still get away with ruining the game for everyone else. KHA'ZIX is a walking jump scare. The only thing he's missing is the ominous band to punctuate the fact that he's about to put each of your butt cheeks on a different side of the map. The first half of his passive, Isolation, forces your team to adapt a little known tactic we learned in summer camp called the buddy system, which in and of itself is a flawed idea. If you and your 13-year-old friend get seen by a bear or a coyote, you're still gonna lose that fight. In fact, you're now twice as delicious as you were before.
How did they teach us that?
Stepping away from your team while against a KHA'ZIX is basically extending an invitation to be eaten. Being isolated grants KHA'ZIX a few special interactions, including an 80% slow on his evolved W, if you swing that way, or a 65% damage increase on his Q, while negating 45% of his Q CD. Putting this at about a 1-second CD, which isn't even long enough to tell your loved ones that you're not coming home. The only thing that can make you look more delicious than being squishy and alone is a couple dabs of Scoot Home. The only thing that can make you look more delicious.
Alright. If that's looks, half of a health's gone with just a Q.
Than being squishy and alone is a couple dabs of Scoot.
And then O, and then W.
Scooch's B2 steak sauce. You can't spell Dibba2licious without B2. The second half of KHA'ZIX's passive is to deal bonus damage on his next attack after he steps out of vision, making his need to scare the shit out of you that much more apparent. Not to mention that this is basically the exact same thing as Duskblade, making him have 2 things that empower his next auto attack after he jumps out of vision, turning your game into a goddamn Stephen King novel. Every time KHA'ZIX levels his ultimate, he can evolve one of
Stephen King.
his abilities, which defines his playstyle for the rest of the game, and each of them are decent. His Q gives him higher sustained damage, which makes it easier to win the few trades that last longer than half a second. His W gives him an 80% slow and more spikes if you have trouble catching people after they flash out and shit themselves. His E gives his jump a longer range and a reset whenever he gets a kill. Level this skill up to be a playmaker. And his R is probably the scariest evolution in his kit right now. I'm saying probably because all of this is up to opinion. Since it causes him to invis every time he enters a bush, use it to constantly proc your Duskblade in your passive. Not to mention that it grants exceptional mobility, and if used right, it can keep him invisible through his entire walk through the red side jungle. And I said invisible, not camouflage, meaning even pink wards cannot see him. That's fucked up. KHA'ZIX is an amazing assassin, not to mention that his sustain in the jungle is pretty good due to his W healing him if he's near the explosions of his spikes. His clear time is amazing, his ganks are powerful, and most importantly, he can change his playstyle to what he needs the most. Unfortunately, KHA'ZIX mains almost never have a place in the meta, so meaning KHA'ZIX is the equivalent of being homeless, which is fine because, you know,
Change is good.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Can We Talk About This? If there's something else you want to talk about, leave it in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get to it. Also, Spooktober's coming.
That's good. That's good. So this is the first time we watching anything like this on this guy's channel as well. Really good. Really good. I like him through obviously all the abilities. He went through the spotlight in his unique way, which was entertaining and also very interesting as well. So no, that was good. Good to go through that. And yeah, I think I'll leave here today, guys, on this one. I've been through technically his spotlight. I've gone through his skins, his bio, and his story, and also his skin spotlight. He doesn't have any special interactions, also similar to Rengar. Doesn't have special interactions, but I'm sure there might be some special interactions when I go through the Legends of Runeterra card game. Special interactions. So at that point, I'm sure there will be some special interactions. But for this video, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, in this one. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts, reactions, and the review of this champion as well. Like I said right at the beginning, I do plan to at some point go through the Void and also where Rengar's from as well. Them 2 regions on the map explore, because I've not done one in a while. But yeah, I'm gonna leave here today, guys, in this one. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.